Good evening. Jamaica recorded 3 additional COVID-19 related deaths and 61 new cases of the virus within the last 24 hours. Now, this takes the death toll to 279 and the total of confirmed cases now to 11,968. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the 3 deaths include a 48-year-old woman from Westmoreland, a 77-year-old man from St. Anne, and a 73-year-old man from St. Mary. Of the 61 new cases, 25 are males and 36 are females, ranging in age from 4 to 90 years. Westmoreland recorded 18 cases, Kingston and St. Andrews 16 cases, Manchester 4 cases, St. Catherine, Clarendon and Trelawney recorded 3 cases each. St. James and St. Mary recorded 2 cases, while Hanover, Portland, St. Elizabeth and St. Thomas recorded 1 case each. The country also recorded 154 newly recovered patients, taking the total of recoveries now to 8,525. Still making news tonight, Mayor of Portmore, Leon Thomas, is appealing to residents as the Ministry of Health and Wellness is still very concerned about the level of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Portmore.
Portmore is badly affected by the COVID virus. They are concerned still by the Ministry of Health about the number of cases in Portmore. We continue to work with them and they are doing testing. We are going to have a massive testing sometime this week before the Christmas at the Greater Portmore Health Centre, and since week they are at the Portmore Mall. And we continue to say to our residents, please maintain social distance because the COVID is still upon us. It is not yet leave us, and with the vaccine that was recently approved and also tested in the United States, we are hoping that Jamaica will get the vaccine as soon as possible to save some of our citizens' life. When the vaccine arrives, and if that time should come, I will take it.
Now, Mayor Thomas, while hosting a tree lighting ceremony in Portmore, said upon speaking with the Municipal Council in light of the pandemic, he went ahead with a ceremony that saw a reduction in attendance. However, residents joined virtually.
October, November, we were contemplating if we should, go ahead with it. But after careful consideration and having discussion with my councillors and staff, we decided that despite of what is happening with the COVID in Portmore, we need to also have our residents celebrate Christmas. The Portmore City Municipal Council Christmas tree, despite the pandemic, we have put together virtually to communicate to our residents, and I know that they enjoy it. They will be coming out with their families and friends to also take photographs at given times throughout the holiday season.
Commanding officer in charge of the St. Catherine South Police Division, Senior Superintendent Clive Blair, says a number of targeted operations have been carried out in Portmore, targeting persons that have committed serious crimes.
What is happening is that we have had incidents of serious crime taking place in this space, and so far we have responded. We have carried out a number of operations targeting the persons who are giving us the challenges that we face in terms of criminal activities. And we have apprehended some of these persons. They have been arrested and charged and taken before the court. Some of the hotspots in Portmore are like Nago's Head, Gregory Park, Newlands. Those are some of the hotspots in the place. Most of our major crimes are down by at least 7%, and we hope to keep it that way until the end of this year.
Still making news tonight, The police are seeking the public's assistance to locate 19-year-old Krishna Young of Gordon Drive, Ensom Acre, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, who has been missing since yesterday. He is of brown complexion, slim build, and is about 6 feet 2 inches tall. Reports from the Spanish Town Police coming into our news center tonight are that Young was last seen at home wearing a black shirt, jeans, and a pair of Clarks at approximately 7 a.m. All efforts to locate him since then have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Krishna Young is being asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. In other news tonight, 3 persons have died and 2 others were injured following a shooting rampage by armed men in the Effortville community in Clarendon last night. Now the deceased men have been identified as 56-year-old taxi operator Michael Henry and Evel Mitchell, also known as Indian, both of Effortville addresses. Reports coming into our news center are that the 2 men were standing at a gate with another friend when several armed thugs approached them. The gunmen asked the 3 men about a missing motorcycle and ordered them to walk into bushes. Several explosions were then heard. Henry and Mitchell were later found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were pronounced dead. The 3rd man was shot and injured and has been hospitalized. A woman who was nearby and begged the armed men to spare their victims was also shot and killed. She is yet to be identified. The armed men, while escaping, then turned their guns upon a vehicle that was passing the area. A woman who was a passenger in the vehicle was also shot and injured. The police say she was 6 months pregnant. She is now being treated in the hospital. Now, further to this story, police investigators were still on the scene early this morning searching for clues from the deadly attack. Head of operations for the Clarendon Police, Superintendent Christopher Phillips, said investigations are still at an early stage.
We're still trying to make sense of what unfolded, but the information that we're getting so far is that 3 men entered the community and started to ask persons for a bike that went missing. The first 2 men that were killed were accused of knowing where the bike is.
Continuing with the news, the government yesterday tabled the new National Identification System and Registration Act 2020 in Parliament. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the new bill will improve the government's ability to serve citizens. Notwithstanding, a major feature of the bill is that it will be voluntary. Prime Minister Holness said the revised policy framework now provides for a voluntary national identification system that will provide secure, reliable, and convenient means of identification for citizens and ordinary residents in Jamaica, with the administrative structure, powers, and functions that are necessary for the establishment and maintenance of a national identification system, as well as a robust and coherent legislative framework to treat with the collection, processing, storage, retention, usage, and protection of personal data, and the protocols, procedures, and systems for identity verification, monitoring, and compliance, an independent oversight body. Prime Minister Holness said the legislation will be referred to a select committee of the House and Senate for consideration and report. He also asserted that the bill has the utmost potential to positively transform the efficacy and transparency of interactions between the state and citizens and residents, with significant additional positive effects for private businesses. As we continue with the news tonight, Member of Parliament for Southwestern St. Andrew, Dr. Angela Brown Burke, yesterday visited the family of 25-year-old Kerry Ann Collins, who was severely burned at her Kingston-based home as she prepared a meal last month. She later died. Dr. Brown-Burke, in speaking with our news team in expressing sadness at the passing of Miss Collins, says this is a story that really breaks one's heart.
It really is a story that breaks your heart, just in terms of seeing what happened to Carrie Ann, hearing the anguish of the family members, and seeing how difficult it was to get something done. The amount of money to go abroad to treat it was really very expensive. Seems almost unsurmountable. A number of things that they tried, the GoFundMe, an account, and just made appeals. When I came, they had asked me, I sent something to the minister. The minister responded, in fairness to the minister, and they went down after that and they spoke to them. The minister told me on the Tuesday that they had gone down on the Monday, that they had, what they normally do is up to $1 million that they could give. By the Wednesday, before anything could happen, she unfortunately passed away. Believe you me, I understand the anguish of the family, and I keep saying that whatever they say in anguish, I mean, I really don't have no problem with it, because I can just imagine how I would have felt if my child, 25 years old, was burnt as badly as that, and we just couldn't do anything and couldn't help.
Now, Dr. Brown-Burke further pointed out that as the family grieves, she is also appealing with the government to ensure the country is able to offer the care needed for such injuries if they occur in the future.
I quite frankly agree and sympathize with the family and understand and agree with the call for the establishment of a burn unit in Jamaica. I believe that wounds of that nature, third-degree burns and similar wounds, we need to have somewhere that is equipped to offer the kind of wound care that is required. I would like to see something that allows us to offer more than palliative care, which is just keeping the person, reducing the pain and not actually helping with the healing. I'm not sure of all that is required. I know, I've heard the minister say that it is expensive, but I really believe that based on the kind of demand for something like that in Jamaica, and just seeing and feeling the anguish of the family, that we have to do something. And so that is something that I am calling on the Ministry of Health to look into and to see how we could provide as a government, as a country, a facility that would be able to care for citizens who find themselves in that position.
Still making news tonight, the state-owned bus company, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, says it has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic while reporting a 90% reduction in sales. This was disclosed by JUTC's Sales and Marketing Manager, Natalia Palomino.
Not even just down in sales, it's severely, COVID-19 severely impacted JUTC. Our cash cow is charter. Right now we're getting little to no charter. Commuters are not riding the buses as often as they do. Majority of our commuters are the concessions, which are mostly the kids and the older people, but they're all at home at this moment, social distancing themselves, trying to keep protective and safe from the virus. So what we are trying to do is represent the brand and show brand Jamaica that Team JUTC is a household brand, and also to show them that you're safe when riding with JUTC.
In the meantime, she underscored the importance of adhering to the government's health protocols while outlining a number of safety measures that have been employed by the bus company to limit the spread of COVID-19.
We have installed hand sanitizers on our buses. So upon entering our buses, you'll be able to sanitize your hand before entering. We ensure that we only transport all seated passengers. All seated passengers, as you would be aware, would severely impact our revenue, but we have to ensure that our commuters are safe. Our commuter safety right now is our #1 priority.
In the meantime, As the Christmas holiday approaches, JUTC's entire For Change Foundation, in partnership with the San Myrna Foundation, hosted a treat for disabled children yesterday at the Halfway Tree Transport Center in Kingston. Sales and Marketing Manager Natalia Palomino, in speaking with our news team, expressed that they will continue this partnership as long as they can bring joy to the disabled.
Here assisting the Empower for Change Foundation with hosting their treat on wheels. JUTC offered the transportation, which is the disabled mobile unit, along with contributing almost 80 gift baskets to assist both the adults and the children at this time. This is definitely in partnership with San Myrna, because San Myrna went above and beyond and decided to donate the toys that took away from the treat, so we had to see how we can tap it as well. It has been a long-standing, and we will continue to work together to create a memorable treat with the assistance of the Empower for Change Foundation. What we're doing now, we're using our mobile unit and visit the homes of our disabled community and deliver the treats that we have in store for them. San Myrna was grateful enough to contribute the gifts, so we have decided to contribute grocery baskets.
The Managing Director of San Myrna Foundation, Robert White, in his remarks, pointed out that with this being a yearly initiative, the Foundation's objective is to put a smile on people's faces, especially during this time.
What is happening here today is our yearly contribution that we do to kids with challenges. And what we do every year is ensure that we put a smile on their face. What we do is ensure that we, show them that they are not forgotten. And we take some toys to them and also feed them. But this year we are doing it different. This year what we will do is doing it on a wheels, where we drive to their home and do the necessary delivery to them and their family. This year it's more than 100 kids will get gifts this year. And just as each year the number keep climbing. And we're looking forward for them next year again. Pandemic or no pandemic, we are out here to bring the Christmas to the kids, because these are kids with challenges, and we most of the time the disabled get forgotten because they are home, but we are going to show them today that they are getting an early Christmas and they are not forgotten.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with the sports.